Ava Max dropped her brand new album, Don't Click Play, and to be defiant, I figured I would hit that play button. This album comes after Ava Max had to cancel her tour and took a break from social media, which was followed by her announcing that she would be changing her team. Ava Max is an artist that I've been recommended to listen to multiple times from friends. I've heard some songs from her, you know, like the popular ones, but they never really intrigued me into listening to her entire discography. The hits of hers that I was aware of, to me, have mostly been either generic pop songs or interpolations of older hits reimagined into Ava's own clubby pop style. Therefore, I never took it upon myself to listen to more than what I heard from friends, on TikTok, in stores, on the radio, etc. But when I saw she was releasing this new project, Don't Click Play, I figured I'd fold to my friends' recommendations and give it a try. Going into it, I was honestly heavily optimistic. Maybe her radio songs and viral songs weren't her best work and I'd be hit with some banger deep cuts. I mean, I think Ava has a great voice and the ability to create a good hook, so I see potential for her to deliver a great album. In this video, I give my thoughts on each song track by track. Before I go forward, I will preface that I did kind of have a lot of issues with this album, but hopefully my analysis will be thoughtful enough to criticize. But don't get me wrong, this album definitely does have some high points. Honestly, if you haven't listened to the album yet, I recommend going to this timestamp for my overall thoughts, because the tracklist analysis may be a little bit boring if you have no idea what the songs sound like yet. But if you listened like me, or are just interested in hearing what I have to say, let's get into this album review and analysis with the first song on the track list, Don't Click Play. The song is a comeback to her haters, aka y'all who act like this girl is the queen of the Kia Asylum, running that place with BB Rexa like the Navy. I'm just playing. Anyhow, the song's lyrics basically say, I'm Ava Max, my music is to party and have fun, and if you don't want to party and have fun, then don't click play. So I'm glad she cleared up why the album is titled what it's titled in the first track, because to be honest, I was a little bit confused with the title and I didn't really know what to expect going into this album. First of all, this song starts with a whispered don't click play, and then she hits a play button, and I just love that moment where she hits the play button, like the physical noise of like pressing a button. It just plays into the title and theme of the album so much and helps immerse us into the project. I just thought that was a really nice touch. I did think the beat was generic in the song Don't Click Play. It's nothing I haven't heard multiple times before, but when the chorus hits, the song becomes catchier and more dynamic. I mean, the song is catchy. After a few listens, I was definitely catching on to the melody of the chorus, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't find myself singing along. The chorus is definitely the highlight of this song. It's infectious and hypes you up. It's definitely a highlight from this album. This song is very set in the years around 2019, but I'm not quite sure if that's just because I correlate Ava's voice with that time subconsciously, or because this music isn't very innovative. Nonetheless, that won't affect my score because I'm really not sure, but that's just something to think about. More on that theme of her coming back at those who push negativity her way, she nodded to the criticism she gets for interpolating and sampling songs rather than making something original, which I feel like works in this song since she actually did try to be original on this project, with not one single sample being on the whole entire album Don't Click Play. Also, she nods at comparisons she gets to Lady Gaga. More on lyrics. She does fill the song with a lot of ah-heys and dum-dum-da-das. I would like to see space in the song be utilized to say more as we move on in this album, because in this first track, a lot of the space is used purely to make noise rather than using impactful writing. But at least she arranged her filler words in a way that almost made her voice become the beat itself. I thought that was a positive. It's a good, decent listen. I enjoyed this song for the most part. It's pretty cool. It doesn't reinvent the wheel or do anything that monumental or boundary pushing, but it's fine. I'm gonna give it a 3.75 out of 5 play buttons. Track 2 on the album is How Can I Dance? The beat on How Can I Dance is even more generic than the one on Don't Click Play, but at least on Don't Click Play, you get a dynamic chorus that helps to make the song easy to grab onto and bop to. How Can I Dance is slower, but it isn't slow in a way that invokes emotion, and it also isn't slow in a way that creates a moody vibe. It's a mid-tone song that I think is attempting to be a hype song. I mean, the song is about dancing, so I'd assume her goal with the song is to get the listener to dance. This song is also filled with fillers like O's. There's not much to the lyrics of it at all. While I was reading the lyrics in a section of Genius, I noticed it said that this was supposed to come out on her last album, Diamonds and Dance Floors, but instead it came out on this one, Don't Click Play, and when I read that, I started to realize something. The first song was mostly about dancing, this song is about dancing, and it seems like dance was a big part of her last album as well, based on its title. So at this point in my listening experience, if this whole album was about dancing, I would have been let down. down. I definitely get that's her brand, making fun dance music, so I can't hate on her style, it works for her. But I personally do favor artists who show versatility in their music. But spoiler alert, luckily it does go into some other themes that we'll discuss as we move through the tracks. This song is kind of a nothing burger. It is really boring. It's just a commercial pop song with traditional pop song structure. There's nothing in this song that makes it unique or stand out from anything else I've heard from Ava Max. Then the end is just really anticlimactic. Overall, the main thing How Can I Dance lacks is impact. This song isn't one I'd be adding to my playlist, as there's nothing special about it. I have to give it 1 out of 5 play buttons. It's one of my least favorites on the entire project. Let's move on to track 3, which is Lovin Myself. Going in, I was hoping this song would give something a little deeper than the past two. Luckily, at this point in the album, Ava introduces the breakup theme that's all over this project. Into the lyrics, at its core, Lovin Myself is a self-empowerment anthem, specifically about feeling better after a breakup and coming into your single hot girl era. I do wonder if this will get criticized for toxic positivity, a critique that we've seen in recent years, specifically a lot when it comes to the artist Lizzo and her music, but that doesn't really bother me. I like an empowering, self-love, positive hippie-dippy songs, but I know people get annoyed by that. I wouldn't say Lovin Myself is a terrible song. It's a cute little pop song about self-love, but it's not very unique or interesting either. For example, the chorus is very generic and the lyrics don't say much. I feel like with this theme of triumph after a breakup that she's trying to convey, she could have been more detailed about how she felt going through that. I mean, it's a complicated series of feelings. There's a lot to be said about going through that situation. It's not a surface level topic. So I didn't take the filler words as interesting melodies, I more so took them as lazy. The chorus honestly kind of annoyed me, and that hurts me to say this early in the album. Then, during the last post-chorus and the outro, the lyrics are filled with even more filler words. Not that Ava has to be the best lyricist, but lyrical content is important to me when listening to music. I'm definitely more of a lyric person than a beat person, and I know that isn't Ava, so I'm not trying to be too harsh of a critic. Again, these are just my thoughts, shaped by my personal music preferences. My final thoughts on Lovin Myself is that the song didn't quite meet my expectations sonically. It's fine, but the okay verses are met with a chorus that just didn't appeal to me personally because there's nothing unique or special about it, and it wasn't catchy or memorable. Lyrically, my expectations were just not met, as I explained before. There were so many missed opportunities for interesting lyrics in a song with this theme of healing that I wish were taken advantage of. I don't like reviewing albums in a negative way, but there's still a long way to go, and I have hope that Ava might have some songs on the tracklist that can redeem this project from these last two dud songs. I'm sorry, but I have to give the song Lovin Myself 1.5 out of 5 play buttons. I definitely like it more than How Can I Dance, but it still really didn't do anything for me. Let's talk about track 4, Sucks to Be My Ex. At this point in the album with Sucks to Be My Ex, I'm starting to notice that Ava does really know how to start a song and get people wanting to listen. The song definitely has a strong start, and that's been a trend throughout these 4 songs for sure. It's just with this song, like the previous one, Lovin Myself, after the beginning, the song gets a little stale. I thought the lyrics in the chorus were a bit bland, but I enjoyed the vocal arrangement. I haven't personally tried doing a cover of any Ava Max songs, but the chorus of Sucks to Be My Ex struck me as something that would be fun to sing. There's also some interesting inflections in the song that she does with her voice. The song Sucks to Be My Ex is about Ava being so hot and her ex missing out. I get she's going the empowering route, not the sad girl route. I just can't help but be a little disappointed when her amazing vocals aren't met with lyrics that are just as amazing. Even though there's auto-tune and effects on her voice, you can tell Ava can really sing well. The effects are more so just used for style. I thought the beat during the bridge was the perfect opportunity for Ava to do something interesting, either lyrically, sonically, mess with the arrangement, something to keep me interested and on my toes, but then she just says can't have my lovin' and makes a reference to the last song we talked about. The hook is definitely the best part of the song. The chorus shines because Ava's vocal arrangement is unique and cool. Vocally, Sucks to Be My Ex is one of the peaks on this album. I don't have too many pieces of praise or complaints about this song either. It's a 33.3%. The glass is a third of the way full with vocals, and the recipe to fill the cup up would require adding a third of engaging elements within the production and a third of thoughtful lyricism. So I'll give this song a 2.75 out of 5 play buttons. It's alright, but it's missing that razzle dazzle that could bring it to the next level. The next song in the track list is Wet Hot American Dream. I have heard this song as it was one of the singles from the project that ended up in my recommended on YouTube, but I didn't return to listen to it after the first time until now. As I pointed out before with the previous song, the beginning of Wet Hot American Dream is interesting and fun, so that trend is keeping up with this song. Then the pre-chorus is the type of pre-chorus that serves as a build-up to what I expect to be a drop into an incredibly infectious chorus. These types of choruses are like drum rolling before someone drops big news or makes a major announcement. Unfortunately, the beat drop into the chorus was a letdown for me. She got there, but I just thought it was going to be a little bit catchier and more dynamic of a chorus. And also, I thought the way that she sang Wet Hot American in the post-chorus was interesting. It works even though the lyrics are super simple. I like the way she sings the phrase. It serves as a catchy part of the song that's easy to sing along to. If she's gonna fill space in these songs with filler words, I'd much rather hear something like Wet Hot American because that's something more interesting than like an ooh 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 or an ad lib. So I think this is definitely a good example of how she should do that if she's going to continue filling space in her songs with filler words and sounds. At least say something that sounds kind of cool. It's like Wet Hot American is this album's That's That Me Espresso. I especially think that that post-chorus will be part that the crowds chant along to during her shows, which will make for a fun live show moment. The song Wet Hot American is good, it's a lot of fun. I just wish for a more impactful chorus because the pre-chorus really feels like it's gonna build into something cool, but then I'm just kind of left disappointed when the chorus hits, which taints the rest of the song a little bit. But as I said, it's not bad. The post-chorus definitely is the most impactful part of the song, especially over the chorus itself. I have to give the song Wet Hot American Dream 3.5 out of 5 play buttons. Sure, the chorus clearly didn't meet my expectations, but it's a step up from the past 3 tracks. And I'd be lying if I didn't admit that Wet Hot American Dream got me thinking that maybe the last 3 songs were just a low point in this album and we could get back to some songs that are fun to listen to and easy to bop to, like the title track at the very beginning of the album. So at this point, we're halfway in and this album has told me a few things about Ava Max. She likes to dance, she has haters, she's hot, and she went through a breakup that she's ready to move on from. So let's move on with the next track in the album, Take My Call. Feeling a bit revived with Wet Hot American, we move into Take My Call, and it starts with the first verse that's passable, but still feels, surprise, generic. Through Take My Call, I think she's singing about a man being so obsessed with her and wanting her so bad that he'll always pick up the phone. The chorus of this track is really something. It's filled with la 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 Take My Call, and the verses aren't good enough to do that kind of a chorus. If I'm being candid with my thoughts, the progression of Take My Call feels bland and boring. Honestly, for me, the chorus ruins the entirety of the song. We do get a bridge in Take My Call, but it feels awkward. I can see an attempt to switch up the song and do something interesting here, which I applaud because so far this album is lacking attempts to innovate and keep the listener engaged, but the transition into the bridge is what makes it awkward specifically, in and out of the bridge. It just sounds clunky to me there. During the pre-chorus, before the last chorus, the instrumental goes quieter, and although that may have been another attempt to make the song interesting through switching things up, it doesn't add any impact. I think this move could have been executed better if the tempo of the beat was changed, or maybe they played something a little slower and darker, but what it sounds like happens on this part of the track is just the volume being turned down on the beat, so it didn't really work for me. I'm giving Take My Call a 1.5 out of 5 play buttons. At this point in the album, I'm feeling even less optimistic. I'm starting to think that we aren't going to get back to a bop like the song Don't Click Play was. And even with Don't Click Play, I say bop softly. It's the best song in this album so far and is pretty decent, but it's not a standout pop song of the year or anything. Let's talk about the next song, Know Somebody. A few seconds into Know Somebody, the song came across like it was going to be the emotional song of the album. It wasn't a sad girl piano ballad. It was still a party beat, but it was slower than anything else in the album had been. I described Know Somebody as a sad girl dance song. The chorus is sang in an anthemic way. Ava does that lift you up type of tone really well, but the melody is extremely elementary on this song. Know Somebody is another breakup song about Ava being betrayed by someone she thought she could put her trust into, which again is another topic that could have inspired a lot of interesting writing, as that's a hard thing to go through. Being betrayed invokes a ton of complicated emotions. It feels like Ava wants to get vulnerable with this song, and I feel like she edges towards that, but she never says anything that personal or profound. Although it doesn't feel personal to Ava, I can acknowledge that this song might be relatable to someone, but almost at the same time, it's trying so hard to be relatable to everyone that it almost feels relatable to no one. It's just any relationship that ends badly could apply to this song pretty much. And maybe that's exactly how Ava felt, but in this case, the lyrics are generic, the story isn't told in a way that feels uniquely Ava. To be frank, it feels like a breakup song from a perspective that any songwriter could just tap into. Even if they were a man that's been married for 30 years. The chorus of Know Somebody is fine. I don't have much else to say besides that it's okay. Not great, not bad, just fine. It's not the most interesting, but it does have a decent catchy hook. The verses on Know Somebody were pretty bland though, and I'm trying to pay attention to the beat on this album, but so far they've all been pretty commercial and generic. It's almost like algorithmic. There hasn't been one beat on this album so far that I would associate as being uniquely Ava Max. This song is a 2.5 out of 5 play buttons for me. It lacks in lyricism and intriguing production, but I applaud it for being a small slight change in the vibe on this album that has been pretty one note so far. The next song on the track list is Lost Your Faith. As I transitioned into Lost Your Faith from Know Somebody, I did notice a prolonged area of dead air between the songs. I don't think it was my streaming service, but if you want to look at the transition between Know Somebody and Lost Your Faith and see if you get some dead sound there, then let me know in the comments, because I was thrown off by that because it was longer than the other ones. Anywho, it starts with a beat driven by electric drums, which I felt kind of drowned out her vocals, but at least we got a drop into a somewhat fun chorus. The verses are boring on this song, I'll admit, but the chorus definitely catches your ear a bit more, even though I don't think the chorus is that memorable in my opinion, but I will give it to them, at least they landed the drop on this one. Lyrically, the song is another breakup song, but it's another breakup song that doesn't feel like it gives a look into who Ava is or what she's been through. While seemingly trying their best to be relatable with this song, they actually make the song feel less relatable, as I said before, because the cookie cutter basic lyrics make it hard for the listener to connect with Ava and her story. As I said, make sure to keep in mind that I would have no idea that Ava went through a breakup between her and her producer Circuit if I didn't look it up. I mean, I can't dog on the lyrics too much. At least she's using a creative metaphor of religion being his love for her, and he's lost his faith and now they're broken up. I guess that's like a cool little metaphor in the lyrics, so I will give points for that. Her voice on the song sounds great, but the production doesn't match that until the guitar solo comes in. That guitar solo was a highlight of the album for me. It wasn't anything crazy impressive, but it did add an element of intrigue and set the song apart from many others in my opinion. I appreciated that this song introduced an instrument instead of electronic beats throughout the whole thing. I don't know if it was a real instrument or a programmed guitar, but it sounded passable enough to be a real guitar to me, especially during the end of the song where I can hear it kind of strumming. I thought that the softer strummed guitar actually sounded awesome. Mixing that dance beat with the guitar worked so well. So far, it's one of the only innovative things I've heard on this album so far, so it did redeem this song a little bit for me. I'll have to give Lost Your Faith a 3 out of 5 play buttons. Let's go to the next song, Fight For Me. After a few seconds of listening to Fight For Me, I immediately noticed that the song's beat sounded familiar, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it reminded me of. But I did think this was one of the better beats on the album. It just brings a lot more than a lot of other beats on this album did. This one is more successful in its attempt to make the listener dance because Fight For Me actually got me kind of moving. And adding on to the positives, the chorus of the song is actually dynamic. Honestly, it's pretty good. I'm not complaining about it. The chorus of Fight For Me is definitely a highlight on this album sonically, even though it's filled with nothing burger lyrics. But what I am going to complain about is the post-chorus, because again, Ava fills that part of the song with non-words to fill space, and it makes the song feel uninspired. And also, the bridge in Fight For Me is boring, filled with lyrics that mean nothing. It's just not interesting to me. And I feel like a bridge is where you can really make a first-time listener add your song to their playlist. A bridge can make a song, so it's important not to be lazy with them. Think of Conan Gray's latest album, Wishbone. So many great bridges that I'd argue make that album as great as it is. But so far, Don't Click Play lacks to even provide one bridge that's well done. And after all this, only 3 songs are left, so I'm starting to lose hope that we'll get even one impactful bridge. Lyrically, Fight For Me tells the story of being in a toxic relationship where 2 people are so hot for each other and want each other so bad. So it's like they're gonna fight each other because they want to fight for each other. I would compare the theme and its lyrics to Makeup by Ariana Grande. I'll give Fight For Me some praise on being catchy. It's also a song that's impactful sonically and makes you want to move. It's not a perfect song. The lyrics drag it down, but I feel like a 3.25 out of 5 works with the context of the rest of these songs. If it wasn't a single, I think it could have definitely been one. It's one of the better songs on this project. Up next is Skin in the Game, and this is the sexiest song on the album in terms of the song literally being about sex. The lyrics aren't very telling, but I think maybe she's talking about being intimate with an ex 2 years later. Instrumentally, sonically, the song isn't very interesting. The chorus failed to hit for me, kind of feels feels dull. The post-chorus is more interesting than the chorus, but I still wouldn't consider it interesting because the lyrics are very boring. The lyrics don't even really make sense in the song, which is fine. Lyrics don't always have to make sense all the time, but I'm just prefacing that so you know that this song is a little bit harder to decode. Overall, with the writing, it isn't amazing, but I don't think that being an amazing writer, an amazing musician, or even an amazing pop star go hand in hand. Ava has the voice, and she has performance skills when she's up on that stage. I would like to hear a little bit more emotion in her voice though. But even though she has a good voice, this song was just insanely boring to me, and definitely one of my least favorites on Don't Click Play, even though I've seen people liking it on TikTok. The most interesting part of the song Skin in the Game is the last pre-chorus, but it's still nothing to write home about. I just really didn't vibe with this song at all. 1 out of 5 play buttons for Skin in the Game. The next song is World's Smallest Violin. I've seen Ava promoting this song lately. I think it might be like the next single. I'm not sure. But anyhow, I've seen people liking it. It's popular, but let me tell you my opinion on it. I like the arrangement of the lyrics into the intro of the song. As I said before, she knows how to start a song pretty well, get me interested, think it's gonna be good, but then a lot of the times it's just a letdown from that. While still generic, the beat does excite me and get me moving more than the previous song Skin in the Game. Compared to that song, World's Violin is way less boring. However, I think they're attempting to make earworms that stick in your head that you'll be humming, but to me, it fails to be distinct enough to accomplish that goal. The only one that really hit with me that way so far was Wet Hot American. I can't stop singing Wet Hot American. It's stuck in my head. The verses are a lot more interesting to me than the chorus of this song is, but that's arguably worse than having a good chorus and not as great verses. Because when I think we're about to lead into a hard-hitting chorus, we're left disappointed. I mean, the chorus isn't terrible, I'm not offended by it, but the boring lyrics make it mid. The lyrics are basically about how Ava doesn't want a man to cry to her, and if she does, she's gonna play her tiny violin. The song isn't really clever lyrically. It's exactly what you'd probably first guess this song would be about. Also, she's used tiny violin references in past songs, so she's just kind of regurgitating that with the concept of this. Maybe she just really liked that lyric and wanted to make a whole song inspired by it, I don't know. But it's still a boring song for me. I'm scoring it 2 out of 5 play buttons. The last song of Don't Click Play is Catch My Breath. Going into Catch My Breath, I really wanted to have a final song, just end this album good to maybe push it up a little bit. I took this song about possibly being her moving on completely from her last relationship and finding new love that she's head over heels for. It's giving the vibe of like a risky new love that feels euphoric. This song has another strong start, but that keeps happening on this album, so I won't be too confident that I'll actually enjoy it all the way through. However, the pre-chorus did keep up the energy. Before the chorus hit, I did like the song. And when the chorus did come around, I am really relieved to say that I was pleasantly surprised. It was actually a pretty catchy moment. I like the post-chorus a lot too. It has a staccato melody that's much more interesting than a lot of the music included on this project. And another positive, the arrangement of the entire song is cool and dynamic. It's like Ava is giving me a good song after listening to what I describe as generic filler songs. Like, this feels like a lead up into something great, not an album closer. It's the type of song I could actually see being a hit. She ends the album by saying, "I can't catch my breath, we're driving over the edge," which I think makes sense because we're driving over the edge, aka the album's over. I do think it would have been cool if she ended the album with another button noise, since she opened with that, you know, play and then stop. I don't know, I just think it could have been a cool way to play into this concept of Don't Click Play. This is definitely my favorite song on the album. I'm scoring it a 3.75 out of 5 play buttons. I think Ava Max is full of vocal talent, and there are good hooks on this album. However, her producers don't seem to be as inspired as her with this project. The production is clean and well done technically to my ear, but it feels bland, unoriginal, and doesn't possess a unique identity. These songs all kind of create the same vibe, which I understand wanting a cohesive sound, but it could be even more immersive. I just thought the beats were a huge issue on this album. They can be dynamic at times, but they never feel signature to Ava. On Don't Click Play, the production and also the vocals feel emotionally absent. Her vocals are great, but I thought on this album that she struggled to sing with much emotion. The vocal performance could have been improved on greatly. Ava sings well, she's not pitchy, she's always right on the money when it comes to the note, but on Don't Click Play, I didn't really feel like Ava was feeling the song when she sang it. She doesn't emote that much on Don't Click Play outside of conveying confidence. With the breakup themes all over this album, I thought it was lacking some anger and grit in the vocals. I think that would have greatly improved this album. If you didn't know the backstory, this is a breakup album for the most part. Ava Max was previously with her producer Circuit, and then he got with one of their collaborators, Madison Love, so it was like a sticky situation breakup, but you would have no idea that Don't Click Play is a personal album about a hard experience if I didn't tell you that, but rather you would probably just think it was a generic breakup album meant to be relatable to anyone in order to drive sales and streams. And that's all because the lyrics don't say much, even though they definitely could. I'm not saying she needs to call these people out by name or be shady, but on Don't Click Play, Ava addresses deep emotions and tough experiences in a way that feels so surface level. You can make a healing album, but make the lyrics about how you healed. Have the lyrics dive deeper into your process and how you're feeling now. Sometimes on this album, it feels like ChatGPT was asked to make a generic commercial pop breakup anthem. I'm not saying these songs should be sad either, but it's hard to connect with the music when there's not many lyrics that are specific to how she felt or dealt with going through the experiences she seems to want to focus on via the lyrics of this album. It almost felt like they tried to make this album so relatable that it actually became extremely unrelatable. With a story like this, she could have had some good songs that invoke emotion, but instead, Don't Click Play is almost a mindless listen. And again, I don't need her songs to be melodramatic, but rather, Ava could make an exciting song that's dancey, but also say something impactful and interesting within the lyrics. On Don't Click Play, every single topic on every single song can apply to every single breakup that didn't end great. There's nothing unique to her experience or specific about how she felt on this album. And I think adding specifics could actually help make this album resonate with people. People like to find themselves within their music. People like artistry and authenticity. It feels like the team behind this album, including Ava Max herself, shied away from being as candid as they could. Think about a song like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart by Taylor Swift. That song conveys a message and gives us insight into the type of person Taylor is and what she goes through while still being exciting, unique, anthemic, and even a danceable song. I wouldn't expect Ava Max to start making sad ballads like Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo can. I understand that's just not her style. It's just crazy to me that this album comes after she went through something really hard but lacks any kind of vulnerability. If an artist wants to make uplifting, happy, dancey music, that's fine, but the lyrics can still be something to sink your teeth into and make you think. Look at Brat. People love Brat. Hype pop albums with substance are great and often do so well. I feel like Don't Click Play was the perfect opportunity for her to have really let us in, to let us know who she is as a person and an artist. But she decided not really to do that on any of these songs. If she wants to make music to play in the background of people's lives, to be on TikTok, etc., go for it. But Ava does talk about how she's a pop star. But to be a pop star, you have to resonate with the people. And there's nothing to resonate with on Don't Click Play. I mean, I guess maybe you could argue that some of the themes on songs such as Don't Click Play about loving yourself could be something to find yourself in. But even then, like, there's not much to latch onto when it comes to the healing journey or anything other than just pure confidence. It's easy to tell through interviews that Ava wants this really bad. She wants to be a main pop girl. But in order to do that, you need to have people connect with you, and this album doesn't really have anything to connect with. I don't even think Ava needs to be writing these songs herself. She could work with writers, but I just think that she needs to hire writers that are more interested in delving into her story and telling it in a way that connects with people and shows who Ava is, instead of just trying to make a catchy hook for a pop song on the radio. Throughout this whole album, Ava Max continuously uses words to fill space that don't add any meaning or serve any purpose in the song besides making sound. It almost feels like she didn't know what to write, or she was writing with someone who didn't get to know her story well enough to tell it. So oftentimes she just uses one singular word or sound to fill a bunch of space on this album, which was a huge problem for me. I would have really liked to see the space on the songs on this album be used to say something. And I'm also saying bring back proper bridges in pop music, because the bridges on this project are either basic, seemingly have meaningless lyrics, or are filled with a filler word, sound, or phrase. There was just so many missed opportunities when it came to bridges on this album. I can tell a lot of these songs are trying to be impactful pop songs, but they just don't quite bring it to the level they need to in order to have that desired impact. It was pretty clear through listening to this that Ava Max's goal, sonically, was to create a dance moment with Don't Click Play. I think her intentions were in the right place, trying to get people to listen to some fun music, and I mean, if one song from this album came on in the club, everyone would probably stay on the dance floor and vibe. But if the DJ kept playing songs from this album going through the track list, I feel like the dance floor would clear, because a lot of these songs songs are very same and lack the dynamics that make a successful dance album. These songs just aren't the easiest to differentiate from each other without knowing the album front to back. No song on this album really has its own strong identity to separate it from another. I'm not quite sure if Ava Max lacks sonic identity or if being cookie cutter is her sonic identity. Either way, something needs to change in order to propel her into superstardom, because this recent project feels uninspired and bland. Today, people want uniqueness and individuality within their music. They want to be able to associate pop girls to their own thing, you know, like Ariana Grande with Wicked and her ponytail, Taylor Swift in her songwriting, Lady Gaga with her unique costumes, and advocacy for the LGBT community, etc., etc. I could go on. But Ava doesn't have her own thing, besides, I don't know, maybe her asymmetrical hair, but that doesn't provide anything to the actual music. I understand having a cohesive album, but a cohesive album doesn't mean making the same song 12 times. A cohesive album has songs with their own identity, but they all can come together well to create a describable soundscape. I will applaud Ava on not using any samples on this album. It's an attempt at originality, and she proved that she can sometimes write a good hook without interpolating. But after listening to her album Don't Click Play, I think that maybe if she doesn't want to do anything unique, she should stick to interpolating and sampling songs and keep that as her brand, because this album is really hard to resonate with. At least with the sampling, we get an element of nostalgia, and I'll admit, it can be interesting to hear an older song presented in a more modern way. So if this is what she makes when she's being original, it hurts me to say, but I wouldn't mind her sticking to sampling as her thing in the music industry. If I had to describe Don't Click Play in one sentence, I'd say it's generic, commercial, one-note pop trying to relate to as many people as possible while begging for them to dance. I think Ava is definitely a vocalist, but her performance quality and writing needs to be improved on. I don't think Ava needs to do this all herself again. Performance quality, more so, yeah, that's kind of an Ava thing, but hire new producers and writers, ones that are as inspired about Ava's project as she is. And by improved performance, I don't mean dancing, I don't mean stage presence, I mean switching up her voice, using her tone as a way to convey emotion when she sings lyrics that require it. And that's why I'm giving Ava Max's latest album, Don't Click Play, 2.5 out of 5 play buttons, aka a 50%. If you liked this album, I'm glad. I always say there's an audience for everything. I just wasn't the right audience for this. If you have a problem with my critiques and are getting ready to type me a little comment telling me to KMS, please consider this. Me reviewing Ava Max's album and dedicating hours of my time to listening to the album, then days of my time to writing, recording, and editing this video means that I do see a lot of potential in Ava Max and respect her a lot as an artist. If I didn't respect what an artist does, I wouldn't review their album. I wouldn't review an artist's album if I thought they were shit. Clearly, I have respect for Ava Max. This just wasn't my favorite project. I know that she can make a good song. I have respect for her. I just wasn't a fan of this project. I wish Ava Max the best with this album cycle, and I hope her fans get to see her play these songs on tour. Although this wasn't a project I found myself liking, I did enjoy the process of picking it apart and making this video, so thank you Ava Max for serving as my inspiration. Thank you for sitting through this video if you got this far. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.